Hey, it's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. It's the 9th February, and as you can see, I'm out in the barn. It's like 10:30, and it has gotten cold, and we're going to get some real cold weather come the end of the week. And I'm out here because one of my puppies, or one of my dogs, had puppies, and she did that this morning, and we had to put her into a porta-hut and get her all situated so she was going to be okay. She had 6 of them. One was not doing too good, and it finally kicked the bucket. But 5's not bad for big dogs like that. Anyway, I've made a couple of real tough videos the last couple of days and been very critical of our leadership here in Michigan state government. And it's kind of interesting, the phone calls that it generates. And I have a friend that is, or was, an F-4 Phantom pilot, Air Force type, and he said to me, you know you're over the target zone when you start taking flak. So I've been taking some lately. I'm not worried about it, but had a couple of conversations today, and I think people need to understand how this works. I mean, in light of what we see in our country right now, we have military people that stand in the gap for you every single day, and you got to wonder, do they deal with fear? You know, they're facing a real live enemy, and they learn to deal with it. And I guess some of the questions that I had today was, aren't you afraid? Afraid of these guys? No, I'm not. And am I working an agenda? No, I'm not doing that either. I'm just putting out there the truth, because there's very little I can do as an individual except exercise my right to free speech, which is what I'm doing right now. And I will continue to do that and let the chips fall where they may. Lately I've been very critical of the Attorney General's little ploy to not only defend the governor in the Flint water crisis, but he's also going to run the investigation. It's a clear conflict of interest, and no one in their right mind does things like that. You just don't. Trying to control all the information like that. I mean, who could benefit from that? Well, it's pretty obvious. And I'm talking with this guy today, and it occurred to me that a lot of times when I make these videos and I tell you guys what is going on from my perspective and what I've been through and all that, I kind of finish it up with, call your senator, call your representative, call the Attorney General's office and tell them how displeased you are. And it occurred to me what a dumb thing that is to say that to you. If you get arrested and you have one phone call, would you call your senator's office? I certainly wouldn't. And I'm going to kind of finish up here by saying that every time that we do that we call into the Attorney General's office and tell him how displeased we are with his performance as the Attorney General, we are actually giving him polling data as to how many people are displeased. And, I would definitely agree with the line of thinking that for every one person that calls that actually does make the time to do it, I know we're busy and it's uncomfortable as can be to call down there because they're intimidating people. And for every one person that does it, there's 1,000 people that feel the same way and are going to vote accordingly when they go to the ballot box. But let's not do that anymore. Let's not call down there to tell them how displeased we are, because then we're giving them all the polling data on the things that we're upset about. Let's do this. If I communicate something to you and it makes sense and you see that there's an injustice being done, just cement it in your mind. And then sit down sometime or just think of 3 or 4 people that in some way, shape, or form you can communicate what I've said if you feel it's the truth. And if you feel that we have a leadership problem here in the state of Michigan, get 4 or 5 people that you know, well, 3 or 4, 4 or 5, 10. You know, maybe if you have a sewing circle, you could get 20. I don't know, but take it to your neighbors instead. Don't run back to the same guys that are perpetrating these things. I mean, you know, oath of office, we've talked a lot about that, or I have, and I've thought about it. It only works when you have honorable men, because it's on your honor that you take that oath. We don't have laws to punish politicians when they break their oath of office. It'd be good if we did. It'd be good. I'd vote for it if it came along, but we don't. Because it's assumed that these are honorable people, and they're not. So to run back to them and say, can you believe what's happening? They just, oh, that's terrible. They wring their hands in front of you and say, well, that's terrible. I can't believe that. But they're just placating you. Really what needs to happen is you identify their poor behavior, and then we get together come election time, and we vote the sons of bitches out and put people in that have what? Honor. And, you know, if we pay more attention, we will see who they are. We will. If we need to get this back on the rails, we need to get this back on the rails. But if we're going to do it, we need to start paying more attention, and we need to start talking to our neighbors. Okay, it's Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone can farm.